Welcome to the roof. So I'm up here working on some of the venting and basically going to handle all the roof penetrations. So here as an example is the solar tube. You can see basically with the solar tube, it comes with a template. You cut a big huge hole, and then this whole flashing piece goes down. Underneath is a bead of a roof sealant, the type I'm using. I got actually from my solar friend. It's a Chemlink M1. It's a little hard to see. M1 universal adhesive and sealant. This is what all the solar people around here use because they're pretty regularly cutting through the roof and then adding a flashing like this. So I have to do one more over there. The shingle side is really easy because basically you do the hole and then you're going to get the flashing up under the upper shingle like this. You can see, well, you'll be able to see. The shadow's funny right there. But the flashing is going to get slid up under the shingle, and that flashing is going to extend all the way up to this line. So water will shed right across the whole thing, and there's really no opportunity for any sort of a water leak. So all these solar stanchions or standoffs are that way. And then there's going to have to be one penetration here to get the solar panel DC wiring down through, and maybe one more to control that rapid shutdown box. And then over here, for example, we've got the plumbing vents. And so, you know, everybody's got a little bit of a different way, but the way I went about it was we cut the hole very tight. I even put a little sealer around the pipe coming through the roof, and then did a double bead. There's some debate. You could do, you know, a bead like this, leaving the bottom open, or seal the whole thing. In this case, I sealed the whole thing, and then fit the flashing, and then I put quite a few plastic cap nails down. And then I went ahead and I popped out a couple nails and I slipped the shingle up over this upper shingle. So this one's gonna be really well sealed. I'm gonna come through and tar this. And so all along this top level, I did kind of the same technique. So the water shedding will never really get behind and underneath any of the flashing. So those ones are pretty easy. This one's a little more tricky because, you know, this side's not going to be shingled. This is going to be tiled only. This side is shingled and then tiled for extra protection. But with this one, you know, I'm too far from the shingle row. So I've sealed it, same as the other ones, cut the hole, put a bead, sealed it, tacked it down. This vent specifically called for no sealant in the middle and no nails in the middle. And that way, if water gets behind it somehow by a failure, it'll be able to drain out rather than dam up and run in. And so I've got this one sealed down. I'm going to tar it, but then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some more tar paper, and I'm going to bib up under this layer and run on top of this one. You know, kind of like what I got going on here. That one just happened to be placed in a way that was very easy to do that. This one I got to extend a little. And similar with these, this is what a big dryer vent looks like. So I've put the tube on. I've got the flapper style because I want to maintain some, you know, airtight insulation kind of thing. So that flap will come up as the dryer's on. It'll flap open to vent. And I've sealed it with a special, I'm going to say duct tape, but it's not the same as duct tape. It's a class 1 duct. They call it Flex Fix. It feels a lot different than duct tape. So I got another flashing for the roof there, and I was just working on this flashing most recently. Those are all plumbing vents. And then this is the one I'm working on right now. This is going to be a vent for the oven. So, you know, I've basically made my cut. I want to get it pretty tight. I don't really like a sloppy, you know, hole with a lot of different gaps. So I went ahead and I located it from the inside. I made my cut. I attached my duct to my lid or, you know, cap. And what I'm going to do now is clean up any sawdust, and I'm going to go ahead and seal it with the M1. I'm going to put it in, I'm going to put the flashing nails around it, I'm going to tar it, and then I'm going to, again, bib a piece of paper up under the upper layer so it'll all just run off. So I'll check back with you. Alright, here's our update. So everything is all tarred up. The whole seams are tarred. On these ones, the shingles are overlapped. On these ones, the roof tar paper's overlapped. So it's not the prettiest thing, but I'm very confident that these are going to be no water leak issues for the life of the roof. So you can see all those, same thing. This is the tar. It's just like Henry's roofing tar. It's actually really for roll roofing. But, so like as an example, we'll just focus on this one. The whole seam has been tarred. All the penetrations that the nails made have been tarred. The whole upper's been tarred. And then this piece of paper has been, over the top, slipped under the upper roll of paper. And then, obviously anything is going to roll on top of the paper, roll on top of the flashing, and right on down. And if just for some reason something were to get under the paper, maybe due to a tear in the paper 30 years from now or something, I still feel very confident that even if water was on this surface, it's going to hit the tar that's on top. And then if for some reason the tar that's on top were to fail, it still has the under roofing adhesive caulked in. And so I just don't anticipate having any roof leaks, and that's really how I want to keep it. So, I spend about half a day, maybe call it a whole day, for all these penetrations. We got 4 pipes for venting, the 2 solar tubes, and then the 4 vents for duct, the dryer, the stove, and the 2 exhaust fans. So if I spend a whole day up here doing it nice and slow, and it never leaks, I'd call it a success. And so that gives you a little insight as to what's happening up here on the roof for this stage. And here's what all those vents look like from inside. So you can see this black pipe here going up through the roof. That's the one we flashed in. Comes down to here, and that's going to be the drain for the sink. Then this one right here is for the toilet, and that one goes up. They tee together and they both vent out through the roof. So all the plumbing is going to be kind of similar. It's picking something up in here. This one, for example, is the washer drain, and it goes up through the roof. So for me, because I did hire a plumber to do all this, the plumber gets it out the roof, cuts the hole and everything. So a roofer would come through and flash and seal it up, but I'm playing roofer for now. And I'm very confident. We had a pretty heavy rain overnight, and I don't see any sign of any leaks or anything at all whatsoever. So you can just see everything is still wet and absolutely bone dry. And then we haven't even done the tiles yet. So when the tiles go on, I'm going to add a secondary like upper flashing. So it'll be, several layers of protection. And then you can see these silver tubes coming through. Those are the flexible aluminum ducting. So there's one, for example, going to be right here, and I'm putting a recessed box in for the dryer. So that way the dryer can sit really flush to the wall, because we built up this little pedestal for them. And so the closer to the wall it sits, kind of the better for space. But if you push it too close to the wall, it'll crunch up that duct. So this recessed box, you can see, has a cutout so that the dryer can go right up against the wall and it still leaves enough room to turn. So that box is going to go right there, planned out for where the dryer is going to be. And it's going to go up here, and you can see that's why I put in that that little vent cap and drop this flexible ducting down. So I'm going to just end up, stretching that out, bringing it into the wall, and then go into some hard tubing, some hard metal pipe, rigid stuff, and then, go into that box and taping it up along the way. They sold this special tape, And so that was one. This one right here is going to go to the bathroom fan, and then this one is going to go to another bathroom fan, and then this one over here is going to go to the range. So let me go ahead and I'll walk around to that point. So you got to have kind of planned out where the range will be. That's what that lower plug is. It's going to be an electric range. And then my plan, at least right now, is going to be the range will be here. And then there will be a vent hood, or my real plan is to do a over-the-range microwave with the built-in vents. So that would be kind of nice and save space. So that microwave will probably end, you know, up about here. And then that'll just leave, actually this is 8 foot long flex duct. It'll probably reach it on its own, but if not, either way, it'll tie in right here. So that way when you turn on the stove or the microwave fan, it'll be pulling fresh air out and sending it out that duct. And that's why that duct was the high temperature version and the dryer was the high temperature version. And then these couple actually, I didn't explain it quite right. This duct is not really a bathroom fan. It's going to be a laundry room fan. And then that one is going to be a true bathroom fan. Then the other penetrations, oh, yep, and there was one more plumbing that went through the roof. 2 more, actually. This one right here goes up through the roof there, and that's for the kitchen sink, and the dishwasher will tie into the same thing. And then this one over here on the edge went up, and that's picking up the downstairs bathroom. So that's all those. Then the other thing we're looking at is in here. You know, let's jump in one room to the next. This room is going to be very bright because there's 2 huge windows. And right now, this room looks pretty light, but there's no drywall up. So once there's drywalls up, this room has no, it's a bathroom. We didn't really want to put a window in here. So this room is going to have no natural light at all whatsoever. So even if it's noon, you'll need to come in here and put a light on. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. So that's why we did those solar tubes. So that's one of those solar tubes right there. And then, you know, this room right here, which is kind of a hallway laundry room, this will probably have some light because there's no door here. But really, to light it up a little bit better, we've marked out that we're going to put the solar tube here, and that's the reason that it's located there. So the roof side of this is done. What needs to happen, though, is these reflective tubes need to be pieced together, and I did have to get 2 2-foot sections each, so a total of 4, to be able to reach the 8 feet I need to get from this ceiling all the way up to that one, and then from this ceiling all the way up to that one. And so at the bottom there'll just be a globe kind of looking diffuser. So every single room will have a lot of natural light all the time. But if you think about it, you know, it'll be nice if you're taking a shower during the day. We're going to place that solar tube right here, so it's going to light the shower and light the bathroom. But you can't make that assumption if somebody wants to take a shower at night. We got to be prepared for that too, which is the reason we put this can up. So there will be a shower light if needed, but during the day that light won't really be needed. So it kind of gets both. And then this is the fan box just roughed in. This was the special one. It has the heater, so you know, we're just kind of planning out where everything's going to be. Because this is just going to be ducted air, that's going to that more light duty box with a nice plastic flapper that was actually had an insulation value rating of R2, because that's just venting air. Whereas because this is venting heat, because it's a dryer, that one was the all metal constructed kind of heavier duty flapper that probably doesn't have quite as good insulation properties, but it's going to be able to handle the actual physical heat. So same with the range. So that's kind of what that stuff looks like in here, and there's a lot of other things to do. So I'm gonna wrap it up and get back to, I don't think I can do any more windows today because it's supposed to be raining any minute again, but I got a ton of cleanup to do. And so hopefully that helps explain kind of what happens on the roof and why there's all these roof penetrations. I'd rather have none, but you got to. So there you go.